Because I have never planned to be entrepreneur, Jalissa. Like if you would have told me 10 years ago I would be entrepreneur, I would honestly think that you're crazy. Because so I am coming from very small country, from very small town. I was raised and born in Czech Republic, very
Yeah.
small town. There was like maybe 1,800 people, and that's maybe too much, maybe including people's cars.
Wow.
And so I always felt there must be more in life. I never felt like I belonged.
Welcome to Mindset Mastery Podcast, where we explore the intersections of motherhood and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Julissa Edwards, and in each episode, we're diving into mindset, emotional regulation, and the real stories of mom entrepreneurs navigating both business and family life. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to another beautiful episode on Mindset Mastery with yours truly, Julissa Edwards. Today, I have the opportunity of interviewing Petia Kolibova Burns. She is an abundance and business coach who guides women to intuitively connect with their inner vision so they can experience personal and professional magnetism and become unapologetically abundant. This woman is such a beautiful powerhouse and so intelligent in what she does. We had a beautiful conversation. She is also a mama to a beautiful 13-month-old baby girl. And so we went into all different kinds of conversations of what is abundance in real life and business. What does that mean to you now that she's also a mother in business? And how this beautiful journey of life continues to show us more of who we truly are, and how that gets to be a beautiful journey of rediscovery time and time again in different chapters of our life. She is a very, very intelligent woman when it comes to business, when it comes to honing in with your intuition. So this is a real treat of an episode. I hope you guys enjoy. Girly, I am so excited. You are a business owner. You're a new mama-ish, 13-month-old baby, and you're helping women and individuals in their business have balance in their business journey, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. We're going to have so many great things to talk about today. Can you share a little bit about what even led you on this path of guiding other people towards abundance, and what does abundance even mean to you?
I love this question so much because I love how you ask, like, what led you to? Because I have never planned to be entrepreneur, Jalissa. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago I would be entrepreneur, I would honestly think that you're crazy. Because so I am coming from very small country, from very small town. I was raised and born in Czech Republic, very
Yeah.
small town. There was like maybe 1,800 people, and that's maybe too much, maybe including people's cars.
Wow.
And so I always felt there must be more in life. I never felt like I belonged. Like I looked around me and people were like comparing each other and competing with each other and living for the weekend and living for the vacation. And I'm like, is this it? Is this really it in life? And
Mm,
so I was the like quote unquote the black sheep.
mm,
People look at me and I never fit anywhere. And I was like fighting the rules and fighting, like even in a school, I was fighting with the girls.
mm.
So I feel like inside of me, I knew I'm meant for more. I just didn't know what that more was. So
Yeah.
7 years ago, when I was fired from my corporate job, while I already lived here in the United States for 7 years, I was devastated. I was brokenhearted because I didn't know what else to do. Of course, like back then, I was getting my bachelor's in marketing. I got my MBA in business. I spoke, fluently four languages, but I just felt
Wow.
like, what now?
Yeah.
That moment when you're like, what now? And so, what I had in my back pocket when I was still in my corporate, I was feeling so miserable that I tried to brainwash myself, Jalissa. And I feel like we all have those moments. Like, I don't want to hear the reality around me. So we listen to the music or, books. And I started to listen to podcasts back then. And I hired my first life and business coach.
No, beautiful.
And so I
And
feel like the
Where were you coming from? What was your corporate job beforehand? Because we have a lot of audience members who are considering transferring from
Yeah.
corporate to entrepreneurship. So where were you coming from?
So I was in Las Vegas and I was office manager and social media manager for a company here
Okay.
locally.
Okay.
They're not like working anymore, they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
But I just felt like this is not it. Like I
Mm,
left my job, but the company then exploded and grew really fast. And they
mm,
hired a lot of people, and those people really didn't care. They came for the paycheck. They were just like, just like coming in and out and complaining about work. And when I do something, I do it with my whole heart. And I was treating that business like it's mine. And
mm.
sometimes I just wasn't happy with the new employees as office manager. And then the bosses, they're like, you gotta be nicer, you gotta be kinder, you cannot be like this strong. Because like when I came here, I was like very strong opinionated European, not only
Yeah.
strong accent, but also strong opinions. And
Yeah.
they didn't like it. They're like, oh, you cannot say this. This is not politically correct. Or you cannot say this because this is not kind. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, do you want to have like a business where people are happy to work in or not? So I got fired back then, but thankfully my first client was actually my business coach, my, life business coach. I didn't have a business back then, so he was a life coach, but he hired me to do his social media. And then
Wow.
his client hired me to do his social media. So my first business was social media marketing agency.
Mhm.
I did it for like a year and a half, but I had a feeling like this is not it. Like sometimes how you're like, well, this was good while it
Closer.
lasted.
Yes. Yes. I'm getting closer, but this is not fully it yet.
Yes. But
Yeah.
what I did realize, because I had to check in with myself, like, okay, like I know don't want to go back to 9 to 5. Like once you get a taste of the freedom,
There's no
even
going
though that
back.
freedom means that you're working 7 days a week, glued to your phone and computer.
Yeah. Especially in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was the beginnings were really hard.
Mhm.
But I just couldn't go back. I tried even to find a job and nothing worked. And it was so hard. I'm like, how it can be hard? I'm like young. I have a lot of languages. I have experience. I have like a great CV. I have a school. Like I already had my MBA. And I just took it as a sign. Like if you're pushing and forcing, it's not meant to be. So I
Mhm.
ask myself, what parts of my business do I love? What parts of my business I do like doing? And I realize I love working with women because back then I worked with small companies and men. And honestly, Julissa, whoever would pay my bills, like
Yeah.
you,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
start your business, you're like,
Yeah.
whoever wants to
Okay,
pay me.
whoever. Yeah.
Yes,
You're finding yourself. You're discovering what you really like. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. And so I did that. But then I realized I love the mindset.
Mm.
And I love people to take them back to themselves instead of doing things for them. That's what I was doing in social media, doing everything for my clients. I
Love that.
saw that when people were energetically connected to themselves and their business, they had a better results. And it
Mhm.
wasn't about strategy. Ever since then, I say like strategy is cherry on the top.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
have the best strategy, you can show up, you can do everything.
Doesn't
But
matter.
if energetically you're disconnected, if you don't work on your mindset, it's not going to work. It's not going to cut it. It's going to be short wins and then you go back into your hole.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I started the entrepreneurship journey. And if I would believe in accidents, I would say it was an accident. But we both know looking back, you can connect the dots and like,
Yeah.
no, it was meant to be like that.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful story. I love that. I feel like it's so relatable. And yeah, I can so agree with you. Once you get a taste of having your own autonomy, and it's funny, in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I think I was like lying to myself and lying to others, not in a mean way, but trying to hype myself up of like, this is the best and I would never give this up. And that is still true to this day. I will never give up my business. I think the harsh reality that I had to accept and allow others to also see is that it's not an easier route than a 9 to 5, right? And look, everybody's different. It's your own perspective. But I have so much passion, so much love for what I do that going back to being governed by somebody else just in my heart does not feel good energetically. And so I completely resonate with what you're saying. And yeah, life is a beautiful journey of unfolding and many things, not just business, right? And but business gets to be one of those things. And yeah, I'm right there with you, girly. Strategy it's important. Yes, it's the masculine part of business. You have to have it. But it's nothing if you don't have connection,
Hmm.
right? It's nothing if you don't have clarity.
I love that you're bringing it up because I was coming when I started my business, I was in this like wounded masculine energy, because I was hustling and working hard and I tried to be the provider, the protector, do it all by myself, not asking for help. Forget delegating. I'm like, I'll just do it. It will be faster. So
Yeah.
I had to learn how to slow down and soften, surrender, and receive. Like, learn that feminine energy has a place in our business. Feminine energy has a place in our life. So I had to learn to balance these two. And I had to learn to go deeper, Julissa, because on a surface level, and I love that you said it, because even though we feel like, well, this is my business, this is my purpose, there will be times and days and weeks and months that you just want to burn it to the ground. Like, don't tell me that you never felt that
Yeah.
way.
I was just telling my client about this. So we do like Friday check-ins, what are your wins and things like that sort. And my client said that her win was not burning down her business. And she thought it was like a cheap, win. But I was like, no, this is like a real taste of entrepreneurship. If you have not thought about burning down your business, because we're multifaceted, I know for me, one of my struggles is that I have so many ideas and I'm always evolving. And so every single time I think of a new program or a new way to do business, I'm like, what am I doing? Am I flip-flopping too much? Like it's the constant struggle of like keeping up with your evolution of self. And it's like, yeah, I think about burning down my other systems of like, this one feels even better for me. And it's like the balance, right? And so her win of like, I didn't burn it down. I'm like, welcome to entrepreneurship. That's a really good win that you're in it for the grit of finding yourself over and over and over again.
It is so true. And I feel like, and we touched on it at the beginning that I'm also mother, mother
Yes,
and mentor.
yes.
And when we decided with my husband that we will like start a family, that's when I wanted to burn my business down, like really bad, because I'm like, I don't want to do things like how I did them before. And honestly, like I freaked out. I'm like, how will I do that? How will I be mother and mentor and a wife? Like, can I do that? Like,
Much.
questioning
Yeah.
myself and I just freak out and I went outside of me instead of inside. And I hired like different mentors and I did like a lot of like human design reading because, like I do human design and I'm like, I need somebody to like tell me what to do. And I
Mm,
disconnected from what I want to do and how I want to do things. And it didn't work. And I had a business income dip, like big one. And of course, that makes you freak out even more. Like, am I supposed to even do that? And then I got pregnant and we lost that pregnancy with our twins. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever experienced. I went through depression and I didn't want to deal with people. I didn't want to deal with business. I kind of just like sustain it, just like with my clients, but forget the grow or like, like focusing
yeah.
outwards. I just didn't want to. And then a couple months after, I got pregnant with our beautiful baby girl, who is 13 months now. And like the last 2 years, I feel like it was the most joyous and hardest years in my life. And it completely shifted how I do business, how I want to do business. And honestly, as we're recording this in like end of September, I don't know when we're launching it, but I feel like I'm going through another like evolution and I don't know what it would look like because we're getting ready to get pregnant again.
Oh, so exciting.
It is. And
It's a lot.
it is a lot. It's like you're chasing your dreams. You're chasing a toddler who is like starting to walk and bumping
Yes,
into everything.
yes.
And I stayed, thank goodness, like I was very like conscious about how I want to do my business. And I, created recurring revenue and savings. And because we live in the United States, there is no maternity leave.
Nope.
When I, like in Czech Republic, when I'm originally from, you can stay with your baby from 1 to 4 years, paid maternity leave.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
here I am running my business. And if I want to stay with my baby, there is a zero unless I have a recurring revenue and some
Right,
systems in place.
right.
There is a zero. And you know how heartbreaking that is for me, Julissa, to see women like, when I was looking, when I had my daughter, and like when you have a baby, you're more sensitive and more emotional still. And I
Yes.
saw like some reels online, and there were women who were like literally crying their heart out that they have to leave their babies in like
Back to
6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Like, how can you even do, like, think about it. The puppies, they need to stay
Yeah.
by law with the mother for 12 weeks. But then, yeah, but then you are sending the minimum, it's complete 8, but by law, it should be 12 weeks. And then we're sending mothers back to work in 4, 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's insane.
I could not do that. Like, first 5 months, Jalissa, I was in my baby bubble and I didn't care about the business. It wasn't until like 9 months when I'm like, okay, I can do some masterclass. Okay, I can do some like more interviews. But until my husband with the second baby, I want even more time. I stay home and
Yeah.
do nothing like 5 months with my baby. I'm like, I want to look even more, like ideally 1 year.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's so fascinating how when you're growing, your business is growing with you, and there are just times that you are like, I don't want to do this. And I don't know what next I want to do. And I am in that stage of my business. I know there is like another layer, another evolution, and I cannot see it clearly. I can feel it. And I feel like we get to normalize it. We get to normalize that entrepreneurship, especially when you're a mother, it's not a straight line. Like, forget it, planning. Like, sometimes I'm on an interview and my baby starts screaming because something happens. I'm like, hey, like,
I
can you pause
go.
it? I
Yes.
go,
Yeah.
and the same with my clients. Sometimes my baby like falls asleep on a boob, and I'm like texting my clients. I was like, hey, can we do like 30 minutes later? Because I'm
Mhm.
not going to
Mhm.
wake up my baby. And
Yeah.
thank goodness, like I'm surrounded by people who get it. And even if they're not parents themselves,
They're
they're
compassionate.
very supportive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The I resonate so much. Thank you so much for bringing that into conversation because one, your journey of I'm so sorry for your loss, with your twins and then, being blessed with a baby girl. I'm so happy for you guys. And then hearing that you're gonna try again for another baby, like absolutely beautiful. I went through I have a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. So we did the whole 2 under 2 thing, and that was beautifully wild and chaotic while running a business and all of that jazz. But what I resonated with your story most, so the go-getter in me that loves business, entrepreneurship, and finding yourself, that kind of easily transferred into motherhood. And so I found myself being very just a go hard. And of like, if I have one baby and I love this baby and this is bringing me so much purpose and passion, I'm like, I want another baby. And so we kind of, quickly fell into getting pregnant again, which we wanted and so beautiful, such a blessing. But I had to recognize a pattern of like me always chasing more
Yeah.
of like, I'm really good at this thing. I fell in love with motherhood and I was like, I want more babies, more stages of like, and not knowing how much stress that would put on my physical body while running a business. And again, I don't regret any of it, but I think it's so important to simply be conscious
Yeah.
of what's happening internally as your body is trying to do all these things and essentially, trying to be a powerhouse, which motherhood will teach you and life, hopefully within due time, that we're not supposed to function that way,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And so I hear your wheels turning of, how can I build a business that sustains us financially? And it's also more ease and flow while this chapter of my life, I get to raise my babies.
Hmm. I love that you said the word ease. We had this conversation yesterday with my husband because before, like, we have such a beautiful relationship. Before the baby, we had more alone time, of course. And now we just like, hey, we need at least 20 minutes quality time every day because if not, the day slips away and baby's in a bed and like there's no time
Fire.
for us. So
Mhm.
we do like weekly dates. And yesterday we went to the park and we were talking, and he's more masculine and more feminine. I don't know if you're familiar with human design.
Yeah, I love it.
I
Yes.
love, are you money Jenny?
I am a, no, I am a manifester.
Manifester. That's why you're so powerful. Got it. So my husband is money Jenny, and I could feel that like like go strong energy and also
Yeah.
like wanting to do a lot of different things. So that makes sense. But for like my husband in human design, he's more masculine, he's more analytical, he's more strategic. I'm more passive, I'm more feminine, and that's how I want to do my business. And that's how I succeeded, and created multiple six figures. And when I tried it to scale the like masculine way and create like more structure, more system, it didn't work for me. And yesterday, my husband, because I was telling him, like, I want to grow my business even more before the baby two comes
Yeah.
so I can have more time with the baby and more recurring revenue. And he was like, well, maybe the challenge is that you want it to be easy. And I'm because he is like, he's younger than me, he's 7 years younger than me. So
Right.
he's still like in that like hustle and you have to work hard and you have to prove yourself. I'm like, I don't anymore. I'm like, I've been there, done that. I don't feel like I have that need anymore. He's working through that to learn his, because he's also 1-3, and the 3 is here to experiment and see what's not working. I'm 5-1, so I'm more like with a higher perspective. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't need to be easy. My life has never been easy. I have a channel of struggle, and I know I will always struggle, but it's not struggle like a hardship. It's struggle like knowing what to fight for and knowing like what to struggle for, in a sense that I know if I struggle, I grow and I expand. I learn through that. But what I told him is I deeply desire ease. I desire simplicity. That's what is like, that's what I teach. That's what I embody.
Are you a manifester as well?
No, I'm a generator. I'm sacral generator.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So is our daughter, 5-1 sacral generators at house. My
Mm,
mother, it's although manifester. She's 1-3 manifester.
okay. I don't remember my numbers, but I'm gonna have to review it now because you're rejogging my memory. But yeah, yeah, so interesting. And I please share more knowledge because it's been a minute since I kind of went back into
Yes.
it. But
And like I love human design. I started to study it 6 years ago, and honestly, it changed my life and my business because when you understand who you came here to be and what is your blueprint, you stop outsourcing your worthiness. You stop living in the conditioning world. Like, honestly, manifestors are the only people who came here to just go and just do it. It's only 8% of the population. You're
yeah,
here to initiate things, and you are, like you said, you are the powerhouse. But
yeah.
most people are not. You
Mhm,
come here with a strong like ideas, but then you get to delegate. Then you
mhm.
get to tell people like what to do, and you go take a nap.
I
You
had to
know?
learn. I'm still learning that because,
Yeah.
to be honest, when I read my design a couple years ago, I was running more like a man gen. I was doing a lot of the legwork, not knowing that I wasn't supposed to.
Mhm.
And yes, and just delegating. If anything, from your conversation too, part of my healing journey within my business was being more feminine because I was on my
Mhm.
butt. I would do all the things, all the work,
Mhm.
and it taught me, just through life that I will get so much further when I have help and when I'm
Mhm.
confident in my voice to delegate what I need for life and for business. Which is why I'm so passionate about like helping mothers see themselves too, that they are the leaders of their household. And it's not like a power struggle between your male partner. It's more so of like your divine femininity of like, we know what's best for our families and you have to delegate as you see fit. So where can we hire help? What can be taken off of our hands at this time? And how can I spend the time doing what I want to do most? And that might be just nurturing the babies at this time, you
Mhm.
know? So yeah, I resonate with all that and I love your expertise in that because yeah, I need a refresher. So I might hit you up
Mhm.
after this to kind of get one of
Hey,
those. But
just send me
yeah,
a DM on Instagram, and I'm happy to like look at your design real quick because I used to do readings. Because
yeah,
anytime I work with someone, whether I hire a team member or it's a client, I gotta see their chart because I feel like it's like soul naked. You can
yeah.
really see people indifferently. And anything I do in my business, any programs, and I launched recently mini course for mamas, Magnetic Mama for mom entrepreneurs. And I'm happy to send you, link with a special discount just for your listeners and you. But I also include their human design so you understand yourself and your babies.
So
Knowing the design of my daughter made everything easier. knowing how she operates, knowing what she needs, knowing what is easier for her. It's just life changing. And even like with your partner, so when you know where to look,
Yeah.
it can bring more ease into your life. Again, motherhood, entrepreneurship, none of that is easy, but it can bring more ease because even though entrepreneurship might not be easy, it's so much easier than me leaving my daughter somewhere for 8 to 10 hours a day. I cannot imagine to leave her in a daycare. And I'm not judging anyone. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like it's all life choices. If you feel like you love this choice and you think that that's the best for your family, go for it. My
Yeah.
belief is that the first 3 years of our babies' lives, it's crucial because they're building their independence, their emotional intelligence, who they're going to be, how they see the world. So when their prime caregivers can be with them and teach them about the world,
Mhm.
it's so much easier for them. So it's not easy, but it can bring so much more ease because even though I'm a mother, and I'm at home, even when I have income dips, because that's business, like you go up, you go down, you have months that you're like, wow, like I had a month when I made so much more in 1 month that I did in 1 year in corporate.
Mhm.
And then I had income dips that I'm like, okay, like this is really low, but still it was higher than my corporate income for a month. So I'm like, for example, like my last income dip was $6,500 a month. And I'm like, and I felt like bad first about it. I'm like, I'm teaching women how to make five and multiple 5-figure months. And here I go with the income dip because we were like
Yeah.
restructuring things, and I'm like, you know what? Women would do anything to be home with their babies and have $6,500.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
work like under 10 hours a week, every single week. I'm working like a couple days and the rest I'm with my daughter.
Mhm.
So we get to always gain that perspective. Like that's
Mhm.
more than I did in my corporate, working 6 days a week.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that realness too, because sometimes I feel that people like hide their numbers and it's, I don't want to judge anybody, like you said prior about the whole childcare thing. I think people do what they think is feasible. And that's not me coming at anyone for their mindset or anything. Like everyone's on their own healing journey, and you have to do what's best for your family at the time of what you can do for your family, right? And so I always am so grateful for my business because I remember with my first child, I was able to make so much extra income a month that I was able to save for my own maternity leave. And I remember talking about it like, my company's helped me save 15K, for 3 months of maternity leave. And I was really proud of that, on top of paying my bills already for those months prior where I was saving. And then with my second child, I didn't get that same experience and I felt really shameful for that. But what I was doing was I was hiring my monthly recurring revenue. So I didn't have anything saved per se for maternity leave, but I had systems in place where my mastermind program was still running with co-coaches that were allowing for that money to come in every month. And so it looked different, but it was still working for me and my family at that time. And yeah, I give so much I'm so grateful that my business has allowed me to do things like this, and also grateful that we had the courage to kind of do this scary thing and go off the beaten path.
Mm.
And when you said before that like my thing as a manifester is to like have the great ideas, it, I had to learn that not everyone will work like me. In fact, only 8% will, right? And so I had to swallow the notion that like I can help people in many ways, but I don't have to expect them to run like I run things, and that's okay.
Mm. And I love that you recognize it. And this is something that I had to recognize too myself. And I'm a generator, and it's like over
Mhm.
30% of the population. But I feel like when we can really dive into like our own inner knowing, like I came here to be uniquely me, like my purpose is to be me, then you stop like looking around and trying to model other people and just really embrace your uniqueness and how do you want to do things and how do you see the world. Like I used to feel so shameful that I'm different.
Mhm.
I felt like so bad that I didn't see the world the same way. I didn't want to have like go to school, go to work, get the house, get married, have 2.5 kids, drink every weekend, go once a year to vacation and just complain about how you hate your job. Like that was my reality. That was everyone around me when I was growing up. And I didn't wanted that. And like people were ridiculing me. And now, like when I'm looking now where I am, like my grandma, I loved her to life. She transitioned 3 years ago almost. But when she was still here, like I was the only grandchild who was taking care of her. Like I came back and I was with her for like 6 to 8 weeks, at the time, like flying from United States to be with her in Czech Republic. And I paid all her bills and all her groceries and everything. Now I retired my mom because they didn't want to give her extra time to come to be with her granddaughter. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. Like your granddaughter will be this little only once. And I don't want you to live off FaceTime, which is nice when there's nothing else. But,
Yeah.
she came for 3 months. Then they didn't want to give her like another time off to come again. I'm like, okay, I'll pay all your bills in Czechia, all your bills here, and you will stay with us. So she comes at 3 months here and then she's 3 months in her country because she loves it. She has her apartment there, her friends. She's very like extroverted person. So being stuck in home only with the baby.
Yeah,
It's a lot. And she's a manifester. So she's like, I want to be free. I want to be out there. But I was doing things that were against the norm. And now look at me. The black sheep is taking care of, everything.
In your own way.
In my own way. And we get to embrace that.
Yeah. Can you speak more about, I feel like a lot of us have a hard time with like having an abundance mindset and what that actually means to you personally. What does it mean to you and how does that correspond to how we view our businesses?
Yes, I love that. And I know you asked that question right at the beginning. So let's do a full circle, please.
Yeah.
What abundance really is, because abundance, it's going to be different things to different people. For me, abundance, it's waking up with no alarm, being able to breastfeed my daughter on demand, meaning I'm at home, I'm with her. I'm working only with the clients who are full body yes for me, who I really desire to work with. I'm in a place that I don't have to work with anyone just to pay my bills. And abundance is to me to have the freedom to pay and invest in the things that are important to me, like health, like my family, like freedom, like adventures, like comfort. In my sun sign in astrology, I'm Taurus, so I love comfort. So I love investing in that. Those are things that are important to me, our health and eating organic foods and making sure that there is a quality adventure time with our family. That's true abundance to me. Whether it means that I made that month $40,000 or whether I made $6,000. True abundance to me is being able to express myself freely as I am and who I am. No wearing masks, because that's what I did most of my life. Wearing masks, being a chameleon, changing depending on who I am with the room in. And now just being abundantly paid to be me. And for speaking my truth, it's just there is no better thing. You being yourself and being paid for it, like tell me what's better. You know what I mean? That's true abundance to me. For other people, it can be different. Maybe it's going to be own a big home or like traveling the world. Like I have clients who like wanted to live a nomadic life and they wanted to quit their job. Like that was true abundance to them. Like quit their job, traveling with their partner, traveling the world, experiencing different cultures. That's true abundance to them, even though they don't have a family or, they don't have the same views or plans as me. My clients don't come to me to be like me. My clients come to me so they can create their own rich life on their own terms. So abundance mindset to me is to know who you are, what are your desires, and how do you want to live your life? Because it's so easy to look around and think like, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, comparing yourself with others, and then you're living in scarcity, no matter how much money you make. Because I had clients who are making more money than, like a lot of us would dream of. They were still in scarcity. Their relationships, their health were suffering. So scarcity and abundance is what does plenty feel like to you? What does overflow feel like to you? Because I know I have clients right now that overflow would be making $5,000 a month. That would be a dream for them because that would mean that they can be fully at home with their families. And that's where I was starting, Julie. So like when I was starting my business, I was thinking that when I make $3,000 a month, I will be rich. Because I'm like, oh, I would pay all my bills and still have a little bit extra, you know?
Yeah.
Now, with
Wow.
my family and with my vision, I'm like, well, right now, overflow for me, minimum, it's $15,000 a month. Overflow and rich life for me, it's $30,000. I made both. So I know what it feels like and I know I can do it again. And I inspire other women to do the same. Like, design your own rich life. Learn, understand yourself. Learn what true abundance is to you, and then be unapologetic about it. You get to be unapologetic about building that fulfilling and rich life for you, for your family on your own terms.
Yeah.
Nobody will feel it and see it like you.
Hey mamas, real quick, are you trying to juggle motherhood and that burning desire to launch your business? Well, I've got something just for you. I'm hosting a free webinar that dives deep into how you can master motherhood and entrepreneurship. Yes, you can do both. I'll be sharing the same actionable steps that I've used to help countless moms launch their businesses while staying grounded and connected to their families. If you've been feeling the pull to start that business and you don't know where to begin, or you're struggling to balance it all, this webinar is for you. In this webinar, we'll unpack those mindset blocks, get you calm, confident, and ready to thrive as a mom and a business owner. Head to the show notes to save your seat. It's totally free. You don't want to miss this. Let's do this together, mama. Join the webinar. The link is in our show notes. Wow, that's so beautiful. And I mean, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, if it doesn't align with your theories, but that to me is what happens when you have a business, right? This abundant lifestyle or taste of, we get to create our reality. When you said that 3K was enough for you in the beginning, it's not that or you correct me if I'm not saying this correctly, that we're asking for more money. I know that, I mean, we are, but the reason behind it, right? Like, I know that for me too, when I was first leaving my 9 to 5 and doing my business, I'm like, I just want to match my income. I just want 4K a month. And with that, I'll be more than happy. Right. And then my purpose as a leader evolved and I wanted to help more people. And, you know, if I want to help more people, I need to hire more support.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's like, well, I need this much money to cover just the business expenses and then still have some for my personal. And that got bigger and bigger over time. And that to me is abundance of like, I get to create as much money as I need to fulfill my dream. What is your dream? What do you want to do? For me, abundant. What do you want to do with your life that will make you happy, right? And for me, it's being able to, you know, coach my clients, coach my motherhood clients who desire to have a business one day or scale their business. Help people have breakthroughs with their trauma. You know, I'm a therapist first. That's what brought me into this whole world of coaching to begin with. If I could do that and all my bills were covered and I had support to do all the things, then I'm a happy woman. I'm a happy mother at that. And then the logistics of that is, okay, how much does that cost? And it's like, okay, so then I get to make this much money to allow that to happen. And so yeah, what I'm hearing from you, girlie, is that abundance is whatever you desire and knowing that it is in arm's reach.
I love how you like change, like how aware and conscious you are about your words, and you could like instantly flip. I get you. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful when you can like witness people who are like conscious and aware, and I love that. And I love that, you know, like you have that foundation of being a therapist. I work with couple therapists, you know, because they're like, I know I can create a bigger impact and I felt like limited, you know. So it is really beautiful that you have your therapist and you have the coaching and you have the masterminds. And It is so beautiful that your embodiment of what you're teaching. I think that's the most precious things. When we can embody, when we can like really embody what we are teaching, and I can really sense it from you, and it's so powerful.
Thank you for seeing that. I wanted to tell you, like when you were talking about your children, well, your daughter. So I'm a manifester. My husband's a man gen. No, he's a generator, and my daughter's a man gen, but my son is a manifester. So they're like a kind of perfect blend of us both. Um,
Yay.
yeah, I think it's so cool. And I don't know if you're into this kind of stuff, but when I was pregnant with both babies, I had a shaman do a reading for both babies, and then I also had like a family reading done for like
Uh-huh.
astrology things. And
Uh-huh.
I think it was so beautifully powerful. My son, the manifester, he is like a little leader. He just like we were at a park the
Mm.
other day and he was the only one at the sand lot. Everybody else was doing something else. And then he went there and then like all the little kids just started trickling over and
Yeah.
everybody wanted to do the play with the sand too. So it's interesting. I love that course. I will definitely love my listeners to have a beautiful discount that you offered, please. I think they would love that. Yeah, it's cool, right? Like maybe answer this question for us because we have this beautiful balance of like we have all these cool things readily available to us and I love things, law of attraction, you know, a manifestation, a human design, like all these things. You hire helpers like coaches like
Yeah.
us, therapists, mindset coaches to help you dig in, and essentially what we're always going to lead back to amongst our expertise of the things that we have mastery in is to lean into yourself once again,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you know, how do you help the mama? Because I think I know, I've experienced it, I've helped mothers through it. We are bombarded with information of like, do this, do that, do this. And especially that hop from one child to two children, like the common experience is that a lot of mothers were so anal and like rigid with that first baby that the second one comes along and it's like, wow, if I could have had the same ease and flow for the first that I could have for my second, then my mindset would have shifted. And it's like, yeah, we're
Mm-hmm.
taught, you know, we have paralysis analysis of like all these choices that we
Mm-hmm.
can do for our kiddos. And the real gem is that you're their mama and you know best, truly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having that trust that like, no, I really do know what's best. It's not a pompous thing. Like, oh, I know what. No, it's like, no, mama, when you lean into your heart, you really know what's best for you and your family. And
Mm-hmm.
so maybe what's some good advice from mamas that are, you know, like you're scrolling on Instagram or Facebook and like you're being given all these ads on like do
Mm-hmm.
this, breastfeeding here, 101, like you know, and I'm not saying that any of those things are bad. In fact, I'm one of those ads, like join my webinar to learn how to juggle, you know, business and motherhood. But how to differentiate like what's really calling you versus the maybe the noise that is going to be great for somebody else, but maybe not for you.
Yeah. I love it, and I feel like this question already kind of had like implied answer. It's you
Mhm.
gotta go back to your intuition. So you get to, and that's why I really love human design, because then I understand what is my intuition and where my intuition is coming from. Our intuition comes from our body. It doesn't come from our mind. It doesn't come unless you're a mental projector and you get to like things have to make sense to you, but that's like very small percentage of the population. um, we get to go back into our body and knowing where our intuition lies. So for me, I'm a sacral generator. Sacral means that my truth is in the moment. It's yes and no, and it's right away.
Mhm.
So I know when I'm in my head and I'm trying to think and plan and strategize, that's not me. That's
Mhm.
the ego, that's the noise, that's not me. Go and look into your human design. You can run your chart for free on Google and just look at what is your authority and just look into that, right?
Mhm.
Because you just get to embody and learn the basics, your authority, your strategy, and your design. Those three, and you don't have to get overwhelmed yourself with anything else. But when you come back to yourself, you will know when your intuition lies. And if you're like Petia, like I don't care about human design, I don't believe in human design, see it yourself.
Yeah.
What I also do with my clients, because I do energy healing and I do hypnosis. So with my clients, I just take them through like visual meditation, reconnecting to their intuition. When was the time that Your intuition was talking to you. How was it? Where did you feel it in your body? We all had intuitive hits, but very often we don't listen to them because we get busy. We disregard it like, oh, this doesn't make sense. This isn't logical.
Mhm.
And then we go back to scrolling and searching and asking Uncle Google instead of coming within and asking your intuition. Is this the best for me and for my family? Is this really resonating true?
Mhm.
So just go back into those times when you had intuitive knowing. When did you feel it in your body? And what happened when you listened and it worked out?
Mhm.
What happened when you had an intuitive knowing you did not listen and it didn't work out?
Mhm.
What happened? When did you feel it? It doesn't have to take a long time because as mothers, listen, if we have 2 minutes by ourselves,
You can
we're
do a lot.
lucky. So I do these things like in a shower or when baby is napping or when she goes to sleep, like just check in with yourself. And
Yeah.
also I make sure as a business owner that I create more than I consume because
Yes.
it's so easy. And listen, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes what I have to do, Julissa, I take my phone and I give it to my husband. I was like, I need a break. Please don't let me touch my phone.
Yes. Yes. I'm the same way.
Because our devices are designed to make us addicted. It's not you, it's not me. Unfortunately or fortunately, it's the times we're living in.
Yeah. Yeah. The
So
pros
our
and cons.
devices are designed to make us addicted. And
Yeah.
we look like, oh, let me look at one more post and one more reel and one more trending audio and reply to one more client and one more email. It's one more never ending. It will never end.
Yeah. So true.
So go away from technology. EMF technology, it is stripping you away from yourself and from your intuition. And I can feel it, Jalissa, the times and days when I have too much technology, I feel it. I have a headache, my eyes are hurting, I'm feeling more irritable. So I go
Definitely.
back to myself. I go to nature, whether it's my backyard, whether it's like whatever it is, I disconnect from technology and I reconnect to myself. And then you will know what is true and right for me. Because what is true and right for me, for my family, it might not be for you. Don't
True.
judge others, just do you. And the best advice, parenting advice that I got from my friend is do whatever F is the best for your family.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Because what's
that.
best for me, it's not best for you. Like I'm breastfeeding on demand. My baby is 13 months. I'm vegan. My baby is vegan. We are co-sleeping. We don't do any shots for our baby. It's my belief. It's
Yeah.
my world. It's my baby,
Makes me feel
right?
good. Yes.
So you get to know intuitively what is true for you and your family.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think like a nice summary of that is you have to disconnect, figure out what's good for you and what you need at this time. And some of the feminine, beautiful woo factor of life that is truthful as well is for me at least, like I know that when I disconnect and I have clarity, I'm still knowledgeable enough to know that I also need support. So I can't do everything by myself. And so when I take time away, I can think like, okay, I might need support in this area of my life at this time.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then, the universe will show up and it'll give me a mentor in that
Mhm.
direction or a course. And I'm like, okay, this feels like an empowered buy versus I'm desperate, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. Let me just buy the first thing that comes to me.
Oh, I just got chills and I love it. I love that so much because in a coaching industry, what I see so often, listen, I have done it too in the beginning when we know better, we do better.
Yes,
But
yes,
I
yes.
was like trying to like bring everyone, like, oh, there is a better life and your life sucks. And like, come with me. And I'm like,
Oh, and it was came from a good place. That's what I was saying earlier. It came from a good place. I wanted everyone to see how much we
yes,
can make. But
yes.
yes, it was a yeah, I was still growing.
Calling in,
I
not
was still growing.
Yep, me too. And I was calling in people who were desperate and who were not empowered buyers. Now,
Yeah.
like many of my clients, they find me on a podcast or they find me, through summits or they find me through reels, but they're empowered. They DM me and they're like, hey, are you taking clients or how can I work with you? Or I had a girl who DM'd me and she was like, hey, I was on your website and there is no link to click. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what link do you mean? She was like, I want to work with you and there is no like link to click to work with you. I was like, girl, I'm not clickable. You cannot just click and work with me. Like I get to like talk to you and it doesn't have to be like, face to face. It can be just DMs, but like I get to make sure we are a good fit, that it will feel good to me. But it wasn't the true in the beginning. Like in the beginning, I was like, come with me. I will like save you. And I'm not here to
Yeah.
save anyone. I'm not here to fix anyone. I
Mm-hmm.
am going where I'm going. You want to come with me, come with me. And that's especially for you, Julissa, as manifester. You are so powerful. You're like, I don't want to slow down. I just want to go. If you want to come with me, come. And you just inform people where you're going. And then they can choose. Do I want to come? Do I see this person? Do I recognize this person? Is this resonating? If yes, I'm jumping on this train with Julissa. If not, it's not me, and
That's okay.
yeah, I just love how you said it. Like it's not desperate, it's empowered. And that's the type of clients that I'm calling in too. Empowered buyers, women who like, I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant to scale my business, and I know it can be simpler. And I know, and so when we can listen to our intuition, we also create from that place. I used to like hire mentors who like did it and who were where I wanted to be. And then I started to do what they were doing. And I got frustrated and I got burned out because it's not me.
Yeah, yeah, me
So
too.
now I create from a place like, would I want to do this? Do I
Mhm.
want to invest my energy? Is it full body yes for me? For you, it's like, is this moving me? Right?
Yes, it's empowering me. Yes.
Yes. Is it empowering you? Is it moving
Yes.
you? And so
Yes.
now
I'm
I'm in
excited about
October starting something that I have never done before. I'm doing 6 months group coaching program. And I
it.
shared it with my mentor. And she was like, oh, this is actually a great idea. This is a great offer. But this is me stepping into my truth and my power. And, I created this program, Soulful Success Mentorship, to have a group of people who are empowered, who
Mhm.
know they want to like scale their business, but they're not focusing on it like, give me the quickie and tell me how to make money and I'm done. It's a soulful success. It's holistic success. It's your health. It's your relationship. It's how you're feeling with your clients. It's doing magnetic marketing when you're not pushing and forcing and chasing. It's being really aligned with who you are, where I can be sharing all that work for me. And I'm investing, like multiple five figures to grow myself with my mentors and masterminds.
Mhm.
So why couldn't I give you a shortcut? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. All right, girly. I want to check in with you. We're having such a beautiful conversation. We're actually a little bit over than usual. Do I have you for 10 more minutes?
I would say if we can keep it around five-ish, just
Okay.
because I get to go with the baby before I jump on another
Okay.
call. Yeah.
Cool. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we'll do this. How can people find you first and foremost for your
Okay.
beautiful programs? Yes.
So I feel like the best way, it's either my website, petiakolibova.com, or my Instagram, Petia Kolibova. For mamas who are listening, I got suspended my regular account. So I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'll just create a mama account. So I created account just for mamas and mompreneurs
Okay.
called the Holistically Minded Mama.
Okay.
And I just started that account, but it's so much fun. It's fantastic. I'm sharing what I do on my entrepreneurship journey
I love
as a
that.
mama. So those are my two favorite places. Or you can also tune into my podcast, Unapologetically Abundant.
I love that. Okay, all the links will be in the show
Yeah.
notes. And then, what is something right now, since and although you've been pretty vulnerable, which I have loved in this episode,
Mm.
something that you're still finding mastery within, or still finding yourself with the process of
Mhm.
something new for you that is
Mhm.
maybe causing some hardship at this time? What would
Yeah.
that be for you?
I feel like for me, it's to be really present, like because I love that I can be present mama and I can work just a couple days a week, but sometimes I'm still finding myself being pulled in like many different directions,
Yeah.
like growing the business and like when I'm with my daughter to be fully present to her because sometimes it's a lot. She's a very energetic baby. She
Mhm.
is brilliant and she's finding her voice and expressing herself. And sometimes it's like telling my husband's like, sometimes I feel like I just want to pack and go 2 days on the beach. And
Mhm.
then I'm without my baby for an hour and I miss her or she's napping. I was like, oh, I missed you. Mama is here, So just finding that balance of being true to myself, creating the space just for me to keep sanity. Because I just had like emergency call with one of my clients who is a mama. Her baby boy, it's 5 months. It's her first baby after loss. She experienced loss like me. But she like sent me a voice message and I'm like, hey, do you want to do extra call? Like my
Mhm.
baby's taking care. I don't work on Fridays, but I'm like, My baby's taken care of. She's with the grandma. They're going on a walk. Do you want to jump on a call? Because she felt overwhelmed. She felt burnout. She felt like she cannot handle this. And I could feel it in her voice. Like sometimes as mothers, we get to the point that it's not safe anymore.
Mhm.
So I jump on a call with her and I feel like this is something that I'm practicing too. You want to grow your business. You want to be present mama. You want to be making money. Where are you in that equation?
Mhm.
So for me, it's non-negotiable to have, like 30 minutes for myself every single day. And even if it feels like 30 minutes, it's nothing. Sometimes it's like, you don't even have that
Yeah.
because you have a teething baby on your boob all day. It's.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, I had a beautiful friend ask me a very similar question. She was new in her motherhood journey and she was like, how do you do both? How do you juggle, work, business, and then baby of like, when I'm at work, I think about my baby. When I'm with my baby, I think about work. And it's like, my answer to her was like, it's really hard. I struggle with that too. And to me, I consider it like it's just mindfulness, just like meditation. You sit, you try to close your eyes or however it is that you meditate and your mind wanders, and then you set to remind it like, hey, we're doing this right now.
Mhm,
All good.
mhm,
Compassion, all the things, and we just bring it back. It's the act and practice of bringing it back to the present time.
mhm. Yeah. And also I remind myself, like, wherever you are, be there. Wherever
Yes.
you are, be there. Like when I'm on interview, I'm on interview. When I'm on a client's call, I'm on a client's call. Unless, of course, like emergencies happens or baby's screaming and you're like, can we take a minute?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that you get to realize that you as a mother, nobody ever, anywhere in this world will be able to feel your baby like you. Just think about it. Like your baby, it's a piece of you.
Yeah. So beautiful.
So there are different seasons and just like acknowledging like what season you're in. Like there was
Mhm.
a season when I was in my baby bubble and I didn't care about business. And then she grew and became more independent. I'm like, okay, now I'm in a season that I want to focus on my business and see how I want to do it. Now I'm preparing for baby number 2 and we never know how the pregnancy will be, how the baby will be, anything. So just like honoring the season. But for me, like right now, what can feel sometimes as a struggle is being fully present and putting myself first. Because that's what I ask my client, like, what would it look like if you put yourself first? Because if you are just dragging your feet and you're running like out of energy, your baby will feel you and you are meant to give them from overflow. Even if it means like handing the baby to someone for, 10 minutes and go take a shower or recoup or do meditation. Like sometimes I just tell my husband, I just need to be alone. Like, here is the baby. And that's it. Like, I can't.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just honoring, what is your truth at this time, and that gets to be okay.
Mhm.
Be okay. So, but yeah, this was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so, so much. If anyone is looking to work with you, all of your show notes are or all of your links are in the show notes below.
Mhm.
I've had a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for being on our podcast, Mindset Mastery, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this. I love that you're focusing on mamas. And Jalissa, what I'm going to also do, I will send you a link to a freebie for the human design. I'll just give you a 100% discount code. It's one of the modules in my mini course.
Oh,
But I
beautiful.
feel like that would be such a fantastic way for mamas to look at where they are in their human design and their babies. And I feel like that can bring so much more easiness in their life too. So I'll send you the links to that too.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye for now. Thank you for joining me today on Mindset Mastery Podcast. I hope today's conversation inspired you to embrace your own journey of balancing motherhood and entrepreneurship. Remember, it's all about mastering your mindset to create a life of success and fulfillment in both areas. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more incredible moms just like you. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and mastering your mindset.